You can't close the leads you're given. You can't close shit. You are shit. Hit the bricks, pal, and beat it, because you are going out.
What is going on? We are back again with the closing table by Lead House 365. As always, I'm Drew. Some people we're just talking about it. People have been seeing me online a bunch lately, so maybe a few more people recognize me today than last time we did this. But and then always got Craig, my partner in crime. We're Craig.
What's going on, guys?
And then I'd like to welcome our buddy Ken here, who's at Offa.com. And as always, we love to just jump on every other Friday, talk about what's going on in the industry, hopefully share some new exciting, info about what we've been learning in the industry, and then also like answer as many questions as we can and provide as much value as we can. So we are now live on Instagram. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. So as we get some people coming in, if you have questions, feel free to just drop them in the chat and we'll get to them as soon as we get them. But first, we'll just like to start and welcome Ken and bring on Ken to the stage.
Thank you guys so much. Hey, nice to meet you guys. Little backstory of who I am. So my name is Ken. I've been in real estate since about 2020, probably similar to a lot of investors out there. I call it the elliptical. I don't know how you guys refer to your life before real estate, but I call it the elliptical because I was in software sales. And funnier story, Craig, you and I got to meet before, but you don't know my total backstory. So I have 2 degrees in Mandarin Chinese. Test me if you want. I'm fluent. It's a very odd situation. But of course, it's not a very applicable job, right? Like especially post AI, doesn't matter anymore. So I went in software sales for about a decade, and I made a bunch of money. The elliptical goes like this: you make the money, you get the commission, you pay the taxes, bump, over and over and again. And so finally, I took a big commission check and started dumping it into real estate. And today, I own 56 units. My family and I invest in real estate together. And how I got into Offa and the industry that I'm in is I bought most of my deals. I mean, every deal that's made me more than 100 or 200K has always been off market. And so I've been super interested in the off market real estate space as a buyer. I've wholesaled like 2 deals, but I've always been on the buyer side. And most recently, and something else I can speak to if you're interested, I was head of sales for Empora Title, the only venture-backed title company in the United States. So I know a lot about the transactional aspect as well as like the buyer psychology and mentality, and that's me.
Got it. Cool. What is Offa?
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen just to show off a little bit if you don't mind. But Offa, and thank you for pronouncing it correctly. Sometimes people say Ufa or Alpha or something, something crazy. So Offa is an off-market MLS. You might say to yourself, "Hey Ken, that sounds kind of silly, right? Like, why would you have an off-market, marketplace?"
There we go. Just want to make sure people could see it.
All right, good. Yeah. So the whole intention of it is we wanted to make it easier for buyers to come see deals. That's the game, right? As you guys know, if you ever dealt with a wholesaler before, most wholesalers have their own platform, their own system. We just got a whole bunch of deals in Washington. I'm going to zoom in here. But it's actually quite challenging. If you were to speak to a buyer, it's actually very hard for them to find your deals and stay updated on your deals and for the deals to be presented easily to see. And then obviously all the things you'd expect of hey, I only want to see land deals, things like that. Yeah. That's really what Offa's built for. Go ahead.
I was saying your criteria, so the buyer can directly tell you exactly what they want and it'll pop up.
Precisely. And that's really all there is to show. It's not too fancy. What I will say is Offa doesn't need you to tell us anything. Offa learns as you use it. So as you go through, we use machine learning, or you can call it AI if you want, but we just learn what you like. And then we send you emails and notifications on things we think you're going to like. And then obviously if you click it, we know, hey, you probably like that. And so what's cool is Offa's been around for about a year now. We're at just over 250,000 buyers. We add anywhere from a few hundred. Sometimes on a really big week, we add a few thousand buyers. How we've gotten here is we partner with a lot of influencers. So Henry Washington has done a lot of content about us. Bigger Pockets has done a whole bunch of blasting about us. But what's interesting about our model, are you guys familiar with Investor Lift? You guys know who they are?
Yeah, very
biggest competitor, right? Which I'm really proud because today we have more deals than them in Washington. They've been around for a long time. So it's a big neck and neck kind of thing. But the thing I'm really proud of is we've decided to monetize the buyer instead of focusing on the seller. So instead of trying to charge a wholesaler 10, 20, 30, 50K a year, we simply charge a buyer $49 a month. And then we'll even give the wholesaler 20% of that if they go bring us that buyer. So I met with a wholesaler this morning. She's out of Washington. She said she has a 4,000 person buyers list. And she's like, you're telling me I can go monetize my buyers list? I'm like, why not? And she's like, I'm in. Right now, she dispos entirely via email. Kind of crazy.
Wow, that's dope, dude. So you're definitely speaking to both angles. You're helping wholesalers, but you're also making it easier for buyers to find exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, this was my biggest challenge as a buyer. So like 2020, 2021, I made a bunch of money, bought some off-market deals, did the development rehab. I mean, I'm walking away with $250,000, $500,000 per, but now I want a 1031, like I want to move my money into something else. And guys, I think I was on, Drew and Craig, I don't know if you guys have experienced this. I must have been on 30 or 40 different email and text chains. It is a nightmare. Like it's not, you guys laugh. It's terrible as a buyer. Like I literally hired a full-time VA who was not great at their job. And I'm trying to have them assess these deals, pull everything into one place, just so I could just to see. And everyone gives me like this fucking, Google Drive link or some bullshit for me to go find the photos. And I'm like, guys, this is truly insane. And then, I tried Investor Lift, and obviously they're my competitors. So like, I gotta be honest with my experience. But as I used that platform, I'd contact a seller and want to like get after a deal. And then my information was sold to 100 wholesalers. And so my phone was getting like 200 to 300 phone calls an hour. And I was like, well, this is impossible. Like I literally can't do this. I can't run my own business. So yeah, I built something better.
Got it. So when you say seller, you mean wholesaler, right? The person with the deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Wow. That's crazy. So they were really just pimping out your data once they realized
I do it right now.
Buyer.
Have either of you ever tried to go on to Investor Lift and contact a seller?
No, I never have. I'm on their buyers list, but I've never actually bought anything through Investor Lift. I've kind of just heard experiences too, and I know it's like the pinnacle, but also it's like the pinnacle for trying to create a bid-off auction scenario, and I'm not okay with that. If I ever buy something from a wholesaler, I give them a number. It's either a yes or a no, or I'm moving on. But no, I guess it's really not all that it's.
Well, try it. I mean, proofs of the pudding, right? Like I always say, like the whole thing about technology companies is like eat the dog food, right? I use Offa myself. Like I literally send deals to my family. I bought a deal 2 months ago off of Offa. It's right here in Orlando, Florida, where my family's from. You can see it's nice outside.
Hey,
but yeah, like I literally use it. Like I use it myself. I would encourage anyone to go try to use Investor Lift. You'll sign on for free. They're going to verify your phone number, verify your email. And as soon as you contact a single seller, they will sell your phone number and your email to every wholesaler within like a 10 to 50 mile radius. And you will start getting an infinite number of calls that have nothing to do with your buy box, nothing to do with what deals you like. You're just going to get everyone's VA and everyone's cold call company to blast you. And I thought that was a really unsustainable model for buyers because I sure as fuck can't handle that.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not, I guess having your information out there, even though you are a legit buyer, is probably not all like, all good for you, because now you don't even know who these people are, or if they have a deal, or they're just trying to collect your information. Oh, I'll tell you when I have something in your area.
Like I said, 40, 50 emails, texts, like guys, the impossibility of it is really wild. But I don't think a lot of wholesalers, like I know you guys deal with a lot of wholesalers. I don't think a lot of wholesalers think about the buyer experience, and like, it's not their fault. They can't really control it. They just have their email list or their text list, and that's all they can see. But on the buyer's side, we receive hundreds of texts a month. Hey, I have this, this land deal in Virginia. I've never bought something in Virginia. I'm not buying land in Virginia. Like I have no interest. And so what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to block you immediately.
Yeah.
Like it's just the buyer experience is very different than what it's like for wholesalers.
Yeah. That's definitely, I don't, I understand what you're saying, man. The customer experience behind that is like, what the hell did I sign up for? Everyone's
Precisely.
got yeah. So.
Well, I think what's interesting is, so we've been hesitant to charge buyers since the very beginning, like buyers are used to getting everything for free and accessing, but I think there's two other real challenges that this thing solves. So number one, wholesalers would love to monetize their buyers list, would love to. There's never been a way to do it. And Drew, Craig, have you guys ever heard of a way for a wholesaler to monetize their buyers list?
I mean, not as data, but yeah, to eventually find someone to buy their deal. Yeah.
Sure. But no other way, right? Like there's no wholesalers that charge for access to their deals, you know? Because like they couldn't. Like they only have so many deals and they can't guarantee they're always going to have a deal. But the beauty of something like Offa, a mass aggregating platform, is we always have new deals because we have more than 2,000 wholesalers using us. So what's cool about that is every single day there's been 0 days in the last year of being online that we haven't had new deals. Not every deal is going to be in your market, but you know there's always new deals. And so a wholesaler can now literally monetize and get 20% of that $50 subscription straight to them forever. By the way, it's not like a 1 month, 3 month thing. Like it's $10 a month per buyer. And so you imagine what that looks like if you can get a couple hundred or even a couple thousand of your buyers to use Offa. Obviously, as a wholesaler, now you're incentivized to post your deals. But most importantly, I think what that does by putting that tiny little barrier, which by the way, for a real estate investor who's real and not just like spamming your deals or like JVing or like daisy chaining some trash, $50 is nothing. It's fine. It's not a problem. But what's so interesting is the amount of people who reach out to us and they say, I'm not paying $50. And I said, okay, fine, goodbye. We don't care. And it like that tiny little speed bump keeps out the JV nonsense and keeps out the spammers, which is like truly amazing. It's such a simple thing to do. But I'm really proud that we did it.
I think it's a thing like, you know, a lot of people want a lot of stuff for free, especially in this industry, and not willing to pay for stuff. And usually in this industry, you get what you pay for. So having some type of barrier to entry is important in order to have the right product. And we have a very similar journey for us. I mean, Craig was acquiring properties himself in Houston for years. And we just knew he was using like PPL companies and other products. We just knew there had to be something better. So we built our system at Lead Us 365 based off the feedback we've gotten from our own feedback of what we were looking for, and then the feedback of, you know, hundreds of people of our colleagues who are also in the industry, and there was something missing, and there was just like, for lack of a better term, some extreme price gouging going on for what it costs to run a lead generation business, just because there was not I say adequate competition. So that's kind of where we came in, because we were like, if we can do this for ourselves and generate these leads for, you know, 1/10 the cost of what it costs to buy this lead on a PPL from a PPL provider, then why isn't someone coming in and just wholesaling these PPL leads directly to investors instead of having this middleman mark them up on a platform and then, you know, mark them up 10x then sell on a platform? So that's kind of the exact
high speed lead. Are we going to drop names? Or are we not going to drop names?
We try not to, because like we don't actually have any competition, so we don't like to give any free publicity to anybody other than actually people like you, good people that are doing something cool and unique. And you know, if someone else as you know, there is a competitor of ours that is doing something cool and unique, then we'll absolutely give credit where it's due. But there's not too much newness going on. It seems like there's a lot of just resetting and people leaving and coming back, and people are always looking for another solution because there had to be a better way. And we're just trying to get the word out that there is a better way. And it's almost like hiring. The only other better way I'd say is if you can afford to hire someone, a professional digital marketer, to be working inside your business as a full-time employee and has KPIs, right? And you're tracking their progress and managing them like the employee. If you're willing to invest a minimum of $60,000, $75,000 per year to hire and train that person and to have them executing it, then that is the only other way other than working with a company like us, where we're like your fractionalized marketing team that's just going to build out this acquisition channel for you, you know? But going to a PPL provider just does like, that's just kind of like the exact opposite way I would say to attack that problem of trying to get fresh inbound marketing leads.
Especially because everyone knows that all the PPL providers all like cross-sell and quintuple sell your leads. Like, you know, it's so funny. When I was at Empora Title, we had every PPL company would come to us, you know, because they know we have all the wholesalers. Like Empora is like, you know, because it's based in Ohio and they have like thousands and thousands of wholesale clients. And over again, they just keep coming and saying, hey, like we're the best at this thing. And then like they'd say, oh yeah, we don't sell leads to multiple people. You know, and then literally 2 or 3 of the clients are like, wait, this is the same, like I just got a call from this guy. So yeah, I think that industry is really crazy. You know what's interesting? Do you guys, Drew and Craig, do you guys touch lender leads at all? You ever done this before? Like,
I'm not sure. Break it down a little bit.
what I mean is like hard money, private money lenders. So like Offa, about 25% of our revenue comes from working with lenders who want to drive more leads. And if you've never done it, you should consider it.
Got it.
You know, we sell every one of our leads for $75 to $100 a piece. Of course, like we have a lot of organic inbound, and it was a problem we wanted to solve, right? We have all these wholesalers, they bring us these deals, and the wholesaler is saying, hey, Ken, like, love this buyer. Does he have financing? Like, they don't understand how financing works. They're relatively new. They're a local buyer. And I'm like, how do I solve that problem algorithmically? So if you go to offa.com, on every one of our deal pages, you'll see that as like an inbound source. But I will tell you guys that like we just signed a partnership with Turnus. We signed a partnership with Kiavi. So like,
wow.
These people will pay for leads. Like they absolutely will. If you can deliver them consistently. And they usually, by the way, are trying to do it themselves, and they're usually paying way too much. So just an idea for your business. If you ever want any intros, like these guys buy leads from us all day long.
For sure.
I got you. Yeah. So I think that would be like our clients, if they're looking for financing on a takedown or something like that, you know, connecting the dots, doing some type of affiliate stuff.
I'm just saying you could literally go sell, like if you guys are really great at generating leads, you can go sell them to like Kiavi. You know, they want to buy leads. So like your specialization is useful beyond just wholesalers. I know it's what you're good at. I'm just saying there's like more people in the industry.
We kind of got to the point where it's like, hey, let's get one. We've said in our head, we're going to get one badass partner in each market, each major MLS market. And we're going to have dedicated partners with them that they're going to give us the majority of their marketing budget, because we're going to deliver the best quality at the best price. And once we get to that, it's kind of like, well, now we don't want to do the whole like multiple markets, multiple wholesalers in the same market, because that's exactly the problem we are trying to solve when we started this business. So we'll move into the roofing niche, or like we'll just pick something else and just do it, because our process is templatizable and repeatable. We just built pixels for distressed home sellers, right? We could build a pixel for hard money lending. We could build a pixel for credit repair. We could build a pixel for whatever it is. So this is the one we're focusing on, and we're already making a pretty good name for ourselves and having a lot of success in it, and have a ton of partners. There's still a lot of markets open. So if anyone out there is interested, hit us up to check to see if your market's available, because there's some markets we're eager to get into where we don't currently have a partner. That being said, we have a lot of guys who are just absolutely crushing. We signed a client, a week ago. They had this first week, and they have two contracts signed their first week. And they're not spending a ton of money. Like these are like sometimes like $3,000 to $5,000 a month packages to get 2 contracts your first signed the first week. Is like nice. What people are predicting. So and the great thing we love is like we don't have like a cap on how many leads you get. Like you tell us what your budget is, and we're going to maximize that. Whether we get you 500 or 50 leads, we don't pay us any more, because that just shows we're doing a good job. And what you consider a lead, Ken, might be houses that don't have swimming pools and don't have solar panels and are in this specific school district, where someone else might just say single family homes that are off market. And so those two people, you can't say, well, what's going to be for what's going to the average cost per lead? It's like, well, you want a lead for 2 completely different things. And how many of those properties exist in that market, period? And then how many people those properties exist in that market that are people want to sell? And then how many of those exist in that market that people need to sell, which is a very difference between wanting to sell a property and needing to sell a property. We're focused on people who need to sell their property, meaning like if this problem isn't solved in the next 30 days for them, they have a substantial bigger problem that they're trying to solve. So that's really what we're focused on. So if we get too granular, then there may only be 2 leads a month possible in that market for that criteria. So we really like customize it, just like you guys do it at Offa, like customize it for what you're looking for. And then we're going to try to deliver the best results that fit your criteria.
Makes total sense. And then Drew, like we become an amazing partner for you guys, because quite literally they could take those leads straight off Lead House 365. They get those 2 contracts, post them on Offa. It's entirely free, by the way. Like we do have a paid subscription, which is a shockingly $200 a month, but it's entirely free to post your deals on Offa. Like we don't stop anyone. There's not even a paywall. So it's a great partnership.
The buyer is the only one paying. They're paying a subscription.
No. So let me show you. I'll share just to be like super transparent. Again, dog food, right? So our main revenue is from our buyers. So buyers on average pay $50 a month. Some of them pay $149, and they get like ARV estimates and rental estimates. But our wholesalers, the only difference in our two plans is like teammates, data exports, and then they get to see all their viewers and their buyers. So basically, if I'm a subscriber and I go check out your deal, you want to know that I checked out your deal, right? So I get marked as a viewer, and if I click contact seller, that's when I become a buyer. And so both of those are those are the things that are the super useful pieces. But yeah, it's entirely free to post your deals. Like you get 2 buyers and 2 viewers for free on every single deal on an unlimited basis.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I think you're definitely one step ahead of your competitors. It seems like you're much more user friendly as well as kind of a little bit secretive too. That way, like you don't, because I get it like you get it, not as much like 300 messages a day or whatever, but people always reach out to me about the rental properties I own. Maybe I didn't set it up in a correct way that like they can find my information and just blow me up to see if I'm selling it. But it's kind of cool that like you're kind of, the experience you have is kind of like, hey, we're not going to go out there and blast your information out to the general public to where everyone can try to sell you a deal now, right? It's
precisely
it's more friendly that way. Yeah.
I mean, buyers don't want to be on blast. Like I literally I'll tell you, I was on the phone with a wholesaler this morning and she said, hey, Ken, I'll give you $3 per buyer. And I'm like, first thing, that'd be like, $750,000 right now. It sounds great, but the answer is no. Like, I'm not going to sell my buyer data to you. And we will never, because that's the point when you lose, like, guys, this whole business is just buyers, whoever has the most buyers and most buyers that actually log in and actually use your system, that's the winner of the game. And that will be us. And eventually, like, there's no one else posts their like data. And so that's one of my goals by the middle of the summer. Like after we get a much bigger foothold is just like post like our analytics all the time of like showing you how many buyers we have and how many deals we have posted. But the fact is, people should not be obsessing over the seller experience. The real challenge here is buyers need buyers to love what you're doing. And that's where it becomes valuable.
Yep. We're with you, man. So have your competitors ever reached out to you to try to do some type of collaboration or business or anything of that matter?
God, if I could like pull it up faster. Well, I don't know. I don't know how critical we're allowed to be on this, but I did get a message. You guys know who Robert Wensley is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the CEO of InvestorLift. He sent me a very pedantic DM on Instagram. I don't follow him. I've never talked to him in my life. I know who he is, of course. He's like the CEO of my competition. And it was like, good luck, kid. You'll never compete with me. You got nothing. And, all the best, sugar. And it was just so funny. It was really weird. And what's so funny is we actually used his DM on Instagram to go raise a bunch of money from investors. Because whenever you have a competitive CEO DMing you saying like, you're not going to be shit. I'm like, so number one, I live rent free in your brain. Great. Yeah. Number two, you know who I am and you're stressed about it because your customers and your users are saying we're using Offa. So to me, delightful. Now, Investor Base is the only other like major Dispo platform. There's some cool guys, but it's a very different system. They're not built for inbound buyers. Like they don't have a marketplace. They're not built to like capture those buyers. And I think the thing that where Offa is going to probably always win is that monetization play. So like I pay out many wholesalers thousands and thousands of dollars a month. That's nice, right? It's one thing to like pay a subscription to buy another job to go like, that's what Investor Base is. You get a whole map and all the buyer data, which is like the efficacy is questionable, but listen, it's another tool you can use. It's cheap. It's easy to use. But the thing is, we've proven to ourselves and to the industry, you can monetize your buyers list. And then it's quite obvious to you. Like, why would you not send your buyers to where you're monetizing them? Because obviously your buyers want to see your deals. And it's really nice to get an extra $2K, $3K a month, from your buyers list. So yeah, listen, I'll tell you the one thing that's really interesting though. We have to figure out how to dispo smarter because we've gotten our first $250,000, right? But I'll tell you guys, it's not easy. Like finding the buyer's information, you can only scrape so much. Everyone's scraping the same data. We use like 4 or 5 different partners to like find buyer information. The best kind is inbound. And we're just trying to find how you can do it at scale inexpensively enough to make everyone happy. That's our real challenge. And like, I'll tell you guys the other thing, if I can like speak to the wholesalers for a moment. What we've seen is a really weird trend whenever people post deals on Offa. And that trend is that they will get something under contract for 150K. Let's say it's a 3-bed, 1-bath in Orlando, Florida, right? Concrete block under contract for 150K. Who knows if it's good or not? I don't know. Shitty condition, needs a new roof, whatever. Under contract for 150, they'll send it to their own network for like 170, and then they'll put it on Offa for 185. And then they message me and they're like, "Oh, Ken, you have no buyers." And I'm like, "Okay, well, we literally see that like you posted somewhere else for cheaper." And of course, like just like you, Craig, investors give it one look, maybe two. Like if you're silly enough to try to like jut in almost 100% more margin onto a platform that has a ton of buyers, like it's not like the MLS. Like you should not start high and start lowering down. That's not how you get anyone's attention. It's actually a really bad idea. So I've just seen this be a problem where wholesalers, I think the word is, I don't know if it's greedy or like opportunistic, but they will send out the deal for way higher on Offa. And I keep telling them, I'm like, guys, and we have automated systems that are like, hey, the ARV doesn't make sense. Like it said, like you post a deal and it sends you a message and it's like, don't do that. Like you can reject the deal. No one's gonna look at your deal. And like we can't, there's no magic, like we can't help you if you're like kind of like kicking yourself. It's just you're not helping yourself in the business. And so that's the only interesting thing we've seen is like I think margins are compressing for a lot of wholesalers. And like I'd like to ask you guys, like Drew and Craig, are you seeing that too? Because like what I'm seeing is margins are compressing. People aren't buying as much. Like it's not as easy as it used to be.
Yeah,
we tell people like one, it's like you got to be focused on hitting as many singles as you can. Play. It's like money. You got to get back in the money ball. It's not just like I got a 50K deal. There's going to be another one around the corner. Like we see like, guys like discrediting leads because of what the person said on the form versus calling them and treating them exactly like someone else, because who knows, that may not be a home run because of what they said on the form. They could say that they're just looking to relocate. And so that's not motivation, but that's not why. Why are they looking to relocate? Talk to them, build some trust with them, maybe uncover more. And maybe understand that if you get 2K off of this, well, that could pay for your marketing budget for the month or something, like people are just so focused on the big swings. We feel like that because it is possible and they do come from time to time, and they probably used to be a lot more regular, but I feel like just because the cost of everything going up, and the fact that just like us, like to generate leads costs more expensive than it did 6 months ago, just because of the economy, right? Just like
There's also a lot of wholesalers. You have a lot of competition. There's a lot of deals out there. Like that's an interesting thing, Drew, that I see is a lot of wholesalers are like, well, I don't want to post my deals on an MLS because I only want like some investors to see it. And I'm like, okay. Yep. The whole reason why the MLS and novations are so attractive is the quantity of eyeballs. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Like you need to get as many eyeballs as possible. I always say like my parents are your perfect buyers, right? They buy all in cash. They own, 8-10 properties, right? But they only buy things within 15 minutes of their home. Their biggest qualification is concrete block and 15 minutes from my house. Nothing. They won't even do anything else because they want to manage the construction, the rehab, and all that shit. And they want it to be really easy. But that's what's so funny is like I think some wholesalers say to themselves, number one, I'm going to be really insular. I'm only going to, like the person I talked to this morning, I only do it via email. And I talked to her, again, in Washington, right? And she's like, well, I don't want anyone else to see my deals. I said, okay, but how many of your deals sell? Well, 30% of them. Okay, like you need more eyeballs. Like you're spending money to get, like Drew, guys, like they're spending money to get these deals. If only 30% of them move, it's a really funny space. But I'm seeing that a lot.
I think there's a lot of paranoia. What we see is I think guys are worried about they have something under contract that someone's going to come find the seller data and come in and offer the 5K under. And
it happens.
That person's willing to take a $1,000 net assignment fee when you're trying to get 6,000, right? Or whatever the hell it is.
Crazy.
And people understand that it's actually the people probably who are just looking to churn and burn as many contracts as they can, and it's $1,000 to $100,000. It's a win. You monetize, you're profitable, move on, versus only focusing on the massive ones and focusing on those whales, and not putting the same amount of work and energy to make this deal work. Craig and I just did a deal where we each made like $500, and it took forever. but we're not like it's not like it stopped changing anything about it. We still treated it with the same due diligence and effort as we treated a bigger deal we did with a house. So that's what we see. What do you think, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, I also, I guess with our clients at least, it really matters about what their business model is. Because we work with guys who will underwrite the shit out of a deal and they won't even, make it worth their time unless they think there's enough in there, right? But we also work with other guys who, if the seller gives them an inch, dude, they're gonna lock it up. But their fallout rate is massive to where like their chances of closing a deal are like less than 10%. But that's their business model, so we can't change that. But also, like, hey, if a seller is willing to give it to me for 90 cents on the dollar minus repairs, me personally, I would just, try to beat them down as much as I can to make the numbers work. But other people, they have other strategies, maybe they can do something with it. But, it really depends on, like them and their model. I want to ask you, I'd have a question with Offa. How many of the deals get posted? How many actually get sold and closed?
So we do run some data on that. So I don't know if you guys know who SFR Analytics is. We're huge fans of Glenn and his team. They can't be happy enough about them. We've been working with them for a long time. So they have some of the highest efficacy data for watching transactions. Because of course, there's non-disclosure states, there's, land trust, which a lot of people buy in, so they like hide the transactions. I will be honest with you. When Offa got started for the first 6 months, we were trying to take a piece of the assignment fee, which, surprise, surprise, not very effective. Basically, we wanted to make it free. We wanted to we saw InvestorLift as a super expensive person. We're like, hey, what if we could just come take like 5 or 10% of the assignment fee and find you buyers? And we did really well. We helped move 200 deals in the first 6 months. Like we did a really killer job, but we only got paid on 2 of them. Got paid on 2. Oh, wow. And the reason why is like a lot of wholesalers are a turn and burn industry. They're not that interested in the partner. Like they don't actually care about Dispo. They think acquisition is the most important piece, which is fine. And we actually literally had to decide if we should go sue some of our partners or not, because we're like, hey, this guy owes us like $40,000. Yeah, we can find him 6 deals that we signed contracts. We're not dumb. We did all of this. Like we signed a contract to title. But long story short, we decided to not do that because number one, it's like nearly impossible. Number two, wholesalers don't operate in like a normal business setting. Most of them are like, small LLCs, don't have any assets. Like there's nothing to sue. And we also didn't want to like kill our relationship with them. So we don't track it as closely now. We should, but we've been more focused on inventory. We just want more deals posted right now. I think I mentioned Craig and Drew before we got on here. In the next week, you'll probably hear about Offa a whole lot more. You'll probably see a whole lot more ads about us because one of the largest influencers in the space, I think their aggregate following is something like 12 million. They're about to become like a lead partner of ours. And so it's great. I'm so excited about it because it's what we need. All we need is more attention. If we have the most buyers, game over. Like we're the biggest in the industry. But it's hard for us to track who actually sells and what sells. Just because we have so many deals moving through. But Craig, that's an excuse. I really need to work on that. So thank you for the note. I don't have great data on it right now.
Okay.
I was looking at the portal. I think it's so when your heat map section on Offa, is that just based off the amount of properties that are currently listed in that area?
I would love for you to not look at that heat map. I think it's older.
I can't actually because it's behind the wall. But I was just curious of what that section is because it's really cool. The map is really cool.
Yeah, I think we started working on that for a little while ago. Oh, it's behind the paywall. Great, because it's not good.
I was just that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think originally when we did this, we wanted to focus on like where the off-market transactions are. We haven't touched it in a little while, so no one heard about it. You're not looking at the heat map. Give us some time. We're focusing on other things, but the intention was there to see where all the off-market transactions were happening, I believe. But I haven't touched that in a few weeks, so I don't trust it.
I think it would be cool with that. I think maybe you already are doing this, but it's like I see this with like ticket reselling websites, like StubHub or like TickPick, where it like ranks it based off how good of a projected deal it is. So like not based on where it is, but like it's like A plus, A minus, B based on that would encourage, I think, the the people listing the properties to try to get that A deal, because then it would get, it's in green instead of red, and it attracts, and it's
Precisely.
like a psychology thing for the person listing the property to want to have that, because they're trying to move it, and then you could rank the deals around the country based off like how good of a quote unquote deal it could be. I think that'd be really cool.
Drew, it's coming down the pipeline. So
Yeah.
well, the only struggle we have is ARV. Like ARV is such an art, and we also get kind of bad pictures. So like wholesalers and like the whole off-market industry is really well known for just shitty pictures. And so the challenge is,
like the real people know, like this estimate doesn't mean anything, right? Like, but like it's a starting point of something. So.
Yeah. Well, right now we took the position that we're simply not going to tell a wholesaler their ARV is wrong. We're not going to do it. Okay. We made that decision. Like we decided, hey, this is going to be fine. Now it's becoming a problem because some people are like, oh, it's like 300K margin on this deal. And like you look at it, it makes no sense. So we're leveraging some AI. Just the challenge is ARV is an art, like there's no if there's no picture of the pool, how would we know there's a pool there if they didn't put in the description? But a pool makes a big difference, both plus and minus based on the condition of the pool. There's just like so many tiny things that really kind of mess up the ARVing. But I agree, Drew, like we want to have like a what's the Arizona top 50 deals this week, top 50 deals this month, like these kinds of things. We're working on it right now. What we really need is just the most inventory in the space. That's the most important thing to us. So like only two things that matter right now: how many pay buyers do we have and how many deals do we have for them to go gobble up. Quality of deal we're going to work on later, just because like wholesaler is going to wholesale. If you want to be greedy and you want to make your price really high, I can't stop you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that I get it, man. So on your team, how many people on the operation side of Offa?
We have one person in operations. No, it's just me, and then there's 4 engineers.
Oh, okay, awesome, dude.
Almost every single thing we do is automated. Everything.
Yeah,
like
you guys do a lot of AI, a lot of automation, stuff like that.
Yeah,
awesome.
I mean, if you guys join, you create an account. After like about a day or two of usage and like 20, 30 properties clicked through, we already know your buy box. We know what you want to buy. At least we have a lot of history and data on what you buy. We track every click. So you'll get an email from us every day with all of our new deals. And then sometimes you get a unique email that'll be like, hey, we think this is in your buy box. And if you click that, obviously you're telling our system, yep, that's probably interesting to me. So, a lot of that is how we dispo to our current audience. And I'll be honest, the way that we have had a lot of success with Dispo has been texting. That has been like the biggest tool. I'll tell you, I think it's dying fast. Like it is, guys, like we're watching the texting data and we have like 45 phone numbers. We use like 9 different providers. Like, I don't know if it's just regulations or like the telecoms are getting smarter about like cold texting, but we're just seeing it becoming rougher. So right after this call, we're literally having all hands with my team to focus on how we can do a better job of driving buyers. But it's hard. Like it is really challenging to, because like I said, my parents are the perfect buyer for most wholesalers. They're really not price sensitive. They really do have cash, but they're hyper local. That is their biggest interest. And that's a challenge,
For sure. You think it's a regulation thing? Or like a carrier issue with the text message? Because we see it too. We see a lot of.
I think it's AI.
Yeah,
I think they're leveraging AI too. Like any system. I don't care if you're using Twilio. I don't care what telecom system you're using. If you're doing outbound cold texting, which of course is the only way to get in front of all of these buyers, right? If they're not already in your network, there's no other way to do it. That's the problem. And like, I'll tell you guys, we've even run Facebook ads. We've done all the different things you would conventionally do to drive buyers, and the economics don't work. The unit economics aren't there. It's actually one of the many reasons why we're trying to charge buyers. So we have more dry powder. We have more cash on hand to invest into advertising. Because once we get you into the Offa world, like our retention rate is like 85%.
That's what I was gonna say. It's like really just the only thing I see is just awareness, like getting a funnel with that people and some great creative explaining what it is and getting it in front of an audience, and that takes time. I mean, like we had to learn when we mastered at acquiring sellers, right? We mastered that, and then when we went to market, we had to master acquiring wholesalers to use our service, right? And that's a whole other beast, a whole other like completely side of your brain. to now market to these people. So it's just figuring out that puzzle. But once you get to that point and people realize there is an alternative and a better alternative, a better, cheaper, faster, better alternative to something like Investor Lift. Once you get it in front of the people, it's gonna be gangbusters for sure.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Drew, the thing I'm really proud of is right now, we don't do any advertising to wholesalers, and we add usually between 5 to 10 new wholesalers and anywhere from like 20 to 50 new deals a week just from them. So we've already a year in, we're there. I mean, there's not a lot of players in the space, right? Like there's just not. And you guys know, like same thing at your side of the house, wholesalers come on and offline all the time. Drop in, drop out. I'm all in. I'm out now. I'm done. I made some money. I'm gonna go fuck off to Belize. Okay. Like it's just how it goes.
You say it all the time. We got to kiss a lot of frogs to find a prince.
Kiss a lot of frogs.
When you find the client, like, here's my 40K advertising budget, and then they set and forget it, and you don't hear from them because they're happy. If they're happy, you don't hear from them, and they just go take the leads and they go close them and they go collect their money, and those are the best clients. And we get 1 in every 10 is that, and the other 9, probably we expect at some point to cycle through, but a lot of them are like on the verge, right? They're 1 or 2 probably shifts in their business away from having another team member, having the right automations, the right CRM, from becoming one of those next level guys. Some people are just stuck in their own ways and they don't ever want to critique the way they're doing things. And then we see a lot in the industry, people are really stuck in their ways with far as like exit strategies. So like, I think it's going to get, one thing Craig and I always talk about, like, going into 2026, we think it's going to, like, into next year, it's going to be harder and harder if like cash offer is just like what you do is your bread and butter. It's going to get harder and harder. You just have to be expect to be doing less deals. But if you're learning how to do sub twos or interested in building your own portfolio, and you're interested in learning how to do novations or partnering with companies that do novations and stuff like that, then you have all the tools in your tool belt to be able to expect the same amount of success you maybe had 5 years ago just doing cash offers.
I know that we have a ton of people who want to buy terms. Like, I don't know if you guys watch Richard Taylor, but he does a lot of like owner financing terms, and we have a ton of buyers who want that. And so it's just so funny that like, that's a whole other market. It's just like buying the actual terms directly. But I'll tell you guys, Drew, Craig, like whenever I was head of sales at Emporia, we had one rule. And actually, whenever we would meet with a new wholesaler to like onboard them as a client to be for our title company, the first question we asked them was, how much do you spend on marketing? Very first question. And they're like, why? Why are you asking? And I'm like, well, for us, it's how we know if you're real or not. Like we just want to know, should we actually expect more? Because like for a title company, they don't know when you have new deals. They don't know anything. Like they're just like hoping and praying you bring them business. And so we knew exactly who we should talk to based on how much they spend, because you're serious. You're actually in the business. If you're just like onesies, twosies, hopes and prayers, knocking on doors, cool beans. Love having your business once a quarter, but you're never going to run an operation. Like you're not going to grow. We can't invest energy into like growing your business as a title side. So like that was the one qualifying question we had when we were at Emporia Title. We don't care about how many deals you've done. You're going to lie. It doesn't matter. Like we have no way to track that. You done 500 deals? Cool. Believe you. Not at all. I mean, you guys smile because it's true. Like it's a whole
we experience the same exact thing you're talking about every single day.
It's so funny. It's so funny. But that was the one question we would ask is how much, number one, how much are you spending on marketing? Number two, who are you marketing with? And that's what, like, as a title company, we would always try to connect with those folks because we are trying to make sure that, like, once they get it under contract, because Emporia would take the deal even before they found the buyer, because we wanted to start the title work. Because, like, of course, getting things over the finish line was so important, and that was one of like the unique pieces of Emporia. They were willing to eat the cost of failed contracts because they'd go faster if the title work was already done. Was special.
100%. Yeah. No, that's definitely one of the on our end. That's like just to get to us, you have to answer that. You went through our funnel, like it asked you, hey, can you afford us or can't you? So we only want to talk to people who are willing to spend X amount of money. Other than that, we know that they're not the real deal. They're not serious about their business. Yes, maybe they've done 10 deals last year or last month, but who's to say if they actually paid to get those deals, like their marketing, or if a wholesaler just JV'd with them. It's huge because as title, they need to, okay, cool. Is this guy going to be a repeat client of ours? Or is he just, hey, I found this deal, can you guys open it for me? Right. And then just go about his business. Another qualifying question too, we started recently is do you have another job? On our funnel, if somebody says that they work another job, it's a red flag to us that they're not going to have enough time to call these leads when they come in.
They're not going to be able to handle the marketing, but even if they can afford it, does it mean that they're going to be able to have success? And we made a rule. It's like we never want to take someone's last, whatever you want to say, $1,000, right? Like
Sure.
The reason someone's businesses and hopes and dreams fail or succeed. We're the best of what we can do. But if like you're in that situation where it's like, all right, I finally saved up enough money to hire a company like Lead House 365, then it's still not going to be the best partner for us. You know, it takes 90 days for any to move any marketing project from close won to close loss, right? Some people want to immediately decide if something works within a week or two, right? But it takes 90 days to build anything. Anyone who's seen they've had a successful business built or an acquisition channel built in less than 90 days, I'd love to talk to you because it takes a lot of time, a lot of testing. It took us hundreds of thousands of dollars in testing creatives to where we felt comfortable then using these creatives for our clients, right? Because we had to spend our own money to say, hey, these don't work. Let's not charge someone else to use something that doesn't work, right? So we've already done the heavy lifting, but in the same sense, is like if you're not willing to say that you're willing to invest, let's say $5,000 a month into building out a property acquisition channel via digital marketing, then why waste each other's time jumping on a call if you're not willing or able to do that type of thing? And it's the same thing with a title company.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that is the one thing, like Offa doesn't care. We don't care if you're like full-time or not, because for us, all we care about is deals. You know, we just want more. Like we have hungry buyers. Our hungry hippo buyers just want to see more deals. And the aggregation is like our job. It's not about like the best deals. It's not about the cheapest deals. It's not about the biggest deals. It's just about all of the deals. So at least for us, we'll take all your newbies, like bring them on.
Yeah. We'll definitely get some partnership thing here going too. I always tell people too, like when it comes to PPC, when it comes to us, like we're really like experienced and you have to pay for that experience. So if somebody's not ready but can afford us, like, hey man, if you fail with us, we might put you out. Your business might be in shambles. Go try cold calling, because if you fail with cold calling, you still have some leverage because you didn't spend, because it's a cheaper form of marketing, right? But
you waste his time potentially, you know?
Exactly. So it's kind of like where the person's at financially, and also how much time do they have? Like if you don't have any time in your day, you got kids, you got another job, like maybe inbound stuff is the better option for you, but you have to be aware that some of these leads may come in at 2 a.m. Whereas cold call, I think bound by law, you can only do it from the, daylight hours, right?
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yep. Definitely. Ken, do we have any questions here in the comments? Let's see. Can you break down the pricing one more time for the buyer and for the wholesaler side?
Yep. So, and it's subject to change based on, whatever we figure out makes the most sense for our business. But currently it is, I'm sharing on the screen, it's $49 for a buyer to access all of our deals. That means you get to access the seller's direct contact information. The only difference between pro buyer and regular buyer is that we give you verified rental estimates and our own proprietary ARV data. Not the best, but we have high hopes. And for sellers, for our wholesalers, it's entirely free to post your deals. So you get direct messaging and all the good stuff. You can only see 2 viewers and 2 buyers, but if you pay $200 a month flat, unlimited basis, unlimited deals, that is unlimited buyers and unlimited viewers. So intentionally very inexpensive.
Got it. Excellent. Yeah, that's good for the viewers to know too. So yeah. Anything else you guys want to wrap up with? I know, Ken, you got to get off to another meeting.
Yeah.
No, guys, this is great. I really appreciate your time. I'm positive we will have clients for you. We'll have to figure out some way to connect the 2 of them together. But what I always say is we want more wholesalers who are spending on marketing. If they want to take the business seriously, they have to do this. And Drew, I think what you said is admirable, but completely unrealistic. I only know a single wholesaler. I think it's Nick Perry is the only wholesaler I know who has his in-house ads team. The only one. I don't know a single other one, because it's too hard. There's too much work to do. There's too much you got to relearn and change and shift. And obviously when you're managing 50 or 100 clients at a time, that's when you like provide that value. They get to they're paying for all the value you provide. So no, we will definitely send you over some business.
100%, dude. Yeah, we'll do the same too. Yeah, we want to maintain a long relationship and grow together.
Appreciate it, guys. All right, well, I'll sign off, and thank you very much, Drew and Craig. I'll see you later.
Thanks for
Awesome,
having
Ken.
me. Come, Ken.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Ken.
See ya.
Okay, bye.
Very cool to have Ken on. I'm going to put the website in here one more time so you can check out Offa if you are interested.
Offa.com.
Offa.com. I'm going to put
if you guys trying to sell a deal, anyone trying to sell a deal out there, definitely check him out. It's cost effective, and they got the buyers, so it could make your whole dispo process a lot easier.
Yeah. And for everybody tuning in, we want to thank everyone for jumping in this week. It was a fun week. We're going to be doing this again in a couple weeks, so towards the end of April. But as always, we had a crazy busy week last week. I think we onboarded like 10 new markets last week, so they are filling up fast. So if there is, if you guys are still looking for help, or you're on the verge, you've been waiting for that deal to close to pull the trigger to start getting some inbound leads, I'd say the time to reach out and jump on a call is better than ever, because they are filling up really quick. So I'm going to put that link in there too. Craig, how have you been seeing the market's been filling up? I know you're more dialed into the sales process.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's really busy. Most of the big metro areas around the country are spoken for, or we have a partner in there already. But yeah, we're always plugging in more people. So get in touch with us ASAP. If that is, drop us a line, hop on, meet with us, see if we're a good fit, and we can get your campaign up and running in 3 days.
Yeah, especially if you're national, if you have flexibility with area, we could probably find some really juicy markets that we see a lot of potential in that aren't really what you'd necessarily expect. We've done some testing internally. We're always buying leads in the markets where our clients aren't. So we are finding, testing to see what market opportunities there are. So there's always potential to work together depending on if it's the right person. So definitely put the link in there, start.leadhouse365.com/booking. That bypasses everything to where you can just book a call directly with us. So if you are in need of inbound leads and want to jump on a call, then we have some spots open next week that we can jump on and talk. But if not, then hopefully we will see you in 2 weeks. We'll jump back on here. Maybe we'll have a guest, but even if we don't have a guest, then Craig and I will just be shooting the shit about everything going on in the industry. I feel like we did that last week, and it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of questions and answers and stuff. So maybe we'll just like alternate having a guest and then just freestyling it,
Hell yeah. Love it.
Awesome. Well, hope everyone has a great weekend and good luck out there. And let's go close some deals.
You got it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time.